All right, guys. Welcome to Real Talk Tuesday. I know it is Wednesday. Sometimes my days get a little bit busy. This sun is a little bit bright. Okay, so we're gonna do with what we have. I'm gonna have to turn this blind down a little bit, guys. Okay, that's better. Okay, now we're too dark. Okay, whatever it is, guys. Um, Welcome, guys. Some of you guys may be live. Some of you guys might be watching this later. I am doing this on YouTube now, so the platform is a little bit different. However, I want to be able to save these for longer term and for anybody to be able to pull these videos and watch, since we do take a lot of time and I've been posting for the last 2 to 3 years. I want to be able to have these available for people if they want to go back and watch it. Um, Again, Real Talk Tuesday is about talking about real situations, real learning lessons, real challenges that people face. Maybe it's a client or a friend or family that I work with, and we solve a problem or something. Then I want to have you guys understand and hear firsthand what we did right, what we did wrong, what did we learn from it. Technically, a free coaching session to really learn about what people are going through and what are the things that can help people create a better mental state of mind, mental peace, to solve things, right? So again, if you guys don't know anything about me, my name is George Ying. I do run a real estate team with KW, hence the shirt here. However, the case, I normally do my Monday postings and then I do Real Talk on Tuesdays. However, sometimes I do it both on the same day because we're just too busy or things come up and our schedule changes. Okay. However, my goal is to be very consistent, to work on getting consistency, to be posting every Tuesday and to be posting every Monday on live market update. The reason why we do live talk is I don't have a script. Okay. We are talking from knowledge, from experience, from the stuff that we go through every single week, and we want to bring it live to you guys. So maybe you're going through something similar. Maybe you have already gone through it. Maybe you could shed some light for the audience, whoever is watching. You could post over here. If you have certain answers or questions or concerns, you can post over here. Maybe other people have the same questions. I want this to be like a free community conversation where anybody can come on here. You don't have to go hire a coach or a mentor or somebody else. You could come onto a page on YouTube and we can chat free every single week about things in your life, things that you're going through, things that you could do better, ways for us to all improve as humans and you know people that can help each other, right? Because we're three people away, 3 degrees away from every person, 3 degrees separation from every person in the world. So we're all connected somehow. And I just wanted to create this system to really connect with you guys. I've been posting like this for 2 years now on Facebook. However, I wanted to bring this on YouTube so that we can reach a larger audience. Maybe there's other people that watch YouTube versus Facebook. Facebook is more tied to just the friends network. YouTube is a lot larger. So wanted to start doing this on YouTube and then sharing it back on Facebook. Okay. So again, the questions I don't see on here. I'm still learning. This is only my second video that I've done on YouTube. However, the case, I'm still learning to use it. So I apologize, guys. However, the case, three things I want to cover today. Again, normally we talk about a topic or something that happened or an event, or we don't talk about politics on here because I don't want people to feel like you're right or wrong, or I'm right and you're wrong. There is no right and wrong, guys. Whatever you believe to be right is right, and whatever you believe to be wrong is wrong. Okay. Everything else is an option, a an idea. Everything is a suggestion. However, our goal is to just bring you guys some things that we go through and things that we cover and things we talk about with other people, maybe coaching students that we have, and we want to just give this to you guys for free to think about, to learn from, to utilize however it helps you. Okay, to deal with whatever you're dealing with. So I came across a couple of videos this week. I watch a lot of Tony Robbins trainings. I've done training with him 3 years now. We ended our session a year ago, but we coach with his system. We've gone to all his training places. Amazing lesson, amazing journey to learn. And I still feel like he's in my head talking to me all the time because I'm hearing ideas and suggestions that he would do, things that he has done, things that could be done better. So again, if I refer back to a lot of lessons and coaching tips from him, it's because I know it works for me and it works for other people, and that's why I use it. But I was watching some videos. I like a lot of different podcasts and a lot of different entrepreneurs and leaders out there, so I watch a lot of different things. However, I wanted to talk about something very simple. Okay, very simple that I watched a video on. I watched some things from Steve Harvey, and I've come across these few things that I feel like we should bring light to this. Okay, it's very simple. Okay, however, the fact I know that the most simple things that we face in life become the most detrimental because we can't solve it. I feel like a lot of people sometimes when they go through mental health, it's not a crisis of I'm dying inside. It's a crisis of I can't find help, right? I don't know the answer. I can't find help. And I feel like I'm the only one going through it. So therefore, you break down or you shut down, right? So I don't know the right or wrong answer, guys. So just understand that these are ideas and these are just suggestions. However, I would say that the simple thing that I want to cover that we can have a discussion about, okay, a very professional discussion about, is why do we have problems, right? I thought about it and I had discussions with my wife all the time. We always talk about this. We both went to Tony Robbins coaching camp and we both have different inputs on this. However, I wanted to talk about this. I want to shed some light on this. So, why do we have problems? Does anybody want to give that a go? I mean, again, I would love to see your comment over here. Would love to see your thoughts on this. However, from my personal opinion, why do we have problems? Problems are the only way that we learn about something in life, whether we are good at something or not good at something, or maybe we're going the wrong direction, or maybe we're in need of help, or whatever the case is, right? I feel like without problems, you're not doing anything. You're as good as dead, right? If you're not learning and progressing, you're not facing problems, which means you don't solve anything, which means you're not climbing, which means you're not growing. Okay, that's just my interpretation. So I personally feel like it's not what you see or what you face or what you go through, it's how you look at it, right? A lot of people talk about this out there, but it's not what you face and not what you go through, it's how you look at it, right? What you think about it or what you call it, right? So let's say, for example, most of us people or human or male or female, however you want to address this, most of us that if you've lived at least 20 or 30 years, you have faced some type of problem. I just got a broken heart. My boyfriend or girlfriend broke up with me, or maybe I'm married and my wife or husband left me, right? We have faced some type of scary problem that is tied to relationship, love, right? For example, especially love. Your partner left you and now you're heartbroken and you don't know what to do. That's a problem, right? However, the case, the reason for that is because something wasn't working, right? Something wasn't working. And why waste another 50 years to find out it's not going to work? Or if somebody's cheating on you, it's not like they woke up and said, I want to be a cheater, right? None of us think that way. However, if they're cheating on you, it's because they're getting something from that person they did not get from you, whether it's attention or money or freedom or happiness or laughter, whatever that is, right? Or it's just the wrong person, right? Again, understand that things happen for a reason. Problems don't just arise. If your car has a problem, for example, if you're driving and your tire blows out instantly and you're swerving and curving, that means that either you hit a nail by accident by the sheer luck, or your tire was worn down and you don't know because you've never checked your tires, and it was time to replace your tire. So obviously it can blow up anytime, right? I feel like problems, a lot of people look at problems in a negative sense of, I don't want problems, or I don't want to have problems, or I shouldn't have problems. And I would agree to a certain percent that you don't want to live by problems every day. Okay. You don't want to wake up and say, I have no money, I have no home, I have no food, I have no friends, I have no loved one. I mean, you don't want to have every problem at one time. Okay. That's chaos. However, you're going to have problems because problems tell us that something isn't working, or something needs to be fixed, or something could be better. Even our health, right? I went through this. I did a piece on this on my Facebook. It's probably deleted by now. That's why we're on YouTube now. But I did a piece on this when I had gout, and I had leg issues, and I had water retention in my left leg. And I read all about this, and I ate certain medication, and I did all these things, and it didn't work. And I watched a lot of different doctors who are highly achieved to get that doctorate. They have the academics to prove that they can learn the lessons, right? So I watched all these doctors. I watched what they're talking about, what they do, what they eat, why they do certain things, without having to spend money and going into a hospital to get an opinion. I looked and researched several opinions and took care of it. And to be honest, I haven't had that problem since. Okay. It did not feel like it would go away. Okay. I promise you. I had it for probably 3 to 4 months, especially after coming back from the Italy trip, after eating all this food and gaining all this weight and all this sugar. I had it on my left leg, and I don't feel like I'm overweight. I feel like I could be healthier, but I don't feel like I'm overweight. And I had a huge problem with my left leg, right? So I had to take care of this. So problems, you could say, hey, I got bad luck, or you could blame God and say, hey, God doesn't want me or doesn't love me. You could say whatever. Problems tell us that things need to change, right? Things are not working. Things need to change. I need to do better. I need to be better. I need to eat healthier. I need to take care of my car. I need to take care of my relationship. If you ain't paying attention to your partner, somebody else is paying attention to them. I'm sorry to tell you, right? We work hard. We live a tough life. We're trying to make ends meet. I get it, but it doesn't mean that you don't solve these problems. If you don't solve them, they build and they explode, and things go wrong, and you have to change. Let's say, for example, we're not even talking about those kind of problems. Let's just say that you're at peace. You pay all your bills on time. You don't even have a partner to go through that problem. You do everything right. And then you walk out of your house, walk down the street, car just happens to swerve and hit you, and you break both your legs, and now you're paraplegic and you can't walk. Anything can happen, guys. I'm not wishing for any of that for you guys. Guys, understand that we can't control these things that happen. When they happen, or if they happen, we have to learn how to understand the meaning behind it. So what I'm saying is that problems are part of life. Problems are part of change. Problem means that something isn't working, so we have to do something new. So if you want your life to go the way you want it to go, you got to go solve problems. If it's not for you, it could be for other people. It could be for other people. Why, if you solved some guy's problem in whatever you're doing, let's say it's a homeless need, right? Let's say there's a homeless guy and you solve his problem, and he could have been the driver that broke your legs 2 weeks from now. I'm just saying, right? Whatever you want to believe in, the higher power, God, spiritual, whatever it is. I'm just saying that when you do certain things, it prevents certain things from happening, right? I believe in doing good, having good, yeah, good karma, good spiritual blessing. Um, believe that the universe is watching. I believe that there's a higher power out there somewhere watching us. However, the case, again, I don't want this to be political, and I don't want it to be spiritual. We could believe in whatever you want to believe. It doesn't matter. We could still have a human conversation, right? So understand that problems are a part of life. Problems teach you how to solve things. means that something isn't working. So it doesn't always mean that problems are bad, but it means that something wasn't working. So now you have to change. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Right. So don't take it out of content where, if you have problems, you're like, wow, my life just like is horrible. Right. I don't want to live anymore. Right. Problems are a part of life. It's a part of growth. It's a part of change. It's a part of getting better. Until you face certain problems, you're not going to do something better, right? I don't have any money. What does that mean? I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to strive to create that. But if you don't have that problem, you're not going to want. And also they call that hunger, right? When you listen to a lot of coaches out there, they call it your hunger. Okay. If Michael Jordan didn't have that hunger, if he didn't get dropped from that first team in high school, would he be the person that we know today? I don't think so, right? Because he was challenged, because he lost that first position, and because he was, had a good coach that was pushing him, he is who he is today because of the problems, because of the challenges, because of all these things that he faced. He became the best. Mamba mentality, same thing, right? So I'm just saying that's not what happens to you. It's how you look at it. It's what you do about it. Okay. Second question. Okay. Second thing that I put on here. What 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 um what does it mean to have certainty? What does it mean to have certainty? Right? What does certainty, and understand that certainty can go with problems or without problems, right? Just because you're certain doesn't mean you don't have problems, right? For example, let me give you something to think about. And the reason why I really want this to resonate with all of you guys watching, a lot of people that have money feel like it'll solve everything. I'm just guessing. Okay. I'm not saying you think this or the world thinks this, but I'm just saying if you are a billionaire, and most of us are not, because there's like the elite 1%, but if you're a billionaire, how come you still have problems? How come you have wife problems? How come you have kid problems? How come you have problems with your employees? You see, it doesn't solve everything. You would think if you have all the money in the world, everything is like perfect. It's not. Okay. Billionaire problems are worse than millionaire problems, and millionaire problems are worse than people who make 100,000. You see, the more money you make, the bigger the problem is to solve. If you don't solve a big problem, you can't make a big chunk of money, right? So understand that people that make more money have bigger problems than people who make small money, right? However, we all have things that we face at different times in order for us to grow. So, certainty. What does it mean to have certainty? In my honest opinion, I would say that certainty only means you've done something enough to know that you know kind of how things work. You know, if you did this, you'll get this result. You know, if you did this, you'll get this result. Is it a guaranteed all the time? Not always. But if you're looking for 100% certainty, you're going to fail. What does that mean? Before I go outside, I have to know that it's exactly 97 degrees. Why? I get it. Some people can't. Some people can't. Okay. I'm not talking about the small percentages. I'm talking about the mass majority. If you're waiting to know all the answer, if you have to have 100% certainty, you're going to fail life. You're going to be miserable. You're going to be alone. You're going to be hungry. You're going to eat alone. You're going to die alone, right? 100% certainty is only for the person who is 100% deceased. That's the only time you know 100% that you're right or wrong. And you don't need to live by that. Okay. So understand that certainty is just an idea, that you know enough that you could do something about it. Okay. And that's all you need when it comes to certainty. If you know just enough that if I push myself, I would get better. Or if I push myself, I'm going to make more money. That's all you need to know. How much? You don't need to know. You don't need to know that you're going to make 150,000 or 250,000 or 500,000. You could set a bar, but it is 200,000 better than 100,000? Is 100,000 better than 50,000? You see, as long as you know you can go and you can push yourself, you can make more, you could do more, you do it, right? So I would say in certainty, you'll never have 100% certainty, but you'll have enough so that you could do something about your life. You can make a change. You could push yourself. You could do more. You could feel more, right? Uncertainty. What does it mean to have uncertainty? In some aspects, I would say that some people will look at these two things maybe in the wrong light. Maybe some people look at certainty as I got to have it or I can't do something. I feel like that's negative because now you can't truly embrace your abilities or capabilities because until you know the answer, you're not going to do anything, right? Uncertainty. I feel like some people look at uncertainty and people think, well, because I don't know the answer, I can't do something, right? And so they kind of work back and forth. So if you think about it, you have too much certainty, you don't do anything because you're certain it's not going to work or you're certain you're going to fail, then you also fail. If you're uncertain, sometimes you feel like, well, if I have too much uncertainty, I can't do anything either. I don't know the answer, right? So I feel like these two things always work in hand, but you got to understand that in order to solve the problem, I feel like you have to have some certainty and some uncertainty. And it doesn't have to be equal balance, but you must believe they both exist. Let's role play this, right? Let's say that I want to buy a new car. Or better yet, let's look at a home because I know there's a lot of uncertainty in the house, right? Most people that's never owned a house have no idea what they're talking about. So let's think of it from a house perspective. I'm certain I want to buy a home because my family is growing and I want to have a place to call my own. I want a big yard. I want at least 4 bedroom. Okay, that's fine, right? I'm certain I want to buy a home. I'm uncertain how much I want to pay for the mortgage and I'm uncertain how much I can afford per month. And then I'm uncertain how much down payment is going to cost because I don't know how much to bring in order to close and I don't know if I have enough money. That's fair, right? So I would say that in the certainty of knowing that you're going to buy a home and the uncertainty of what everything costs and then how do you know it's a good home and all this stuff, these two things are going to exist. How does it work? Because the problem is I don't own a house, right? But in certainty, I just know I want to buy a home. I don't know all the challenges. I don't know how to get there. I don't have an agent. I don't have a loan officer. I don't have pre-approval. I get it. But as long as you know that you want to go buy a home with the right team, and this is kind of what my team has done for a lot of people, is if you want to buy a home, then I can take you to the finish line, right? Same thing in life, though, okay? But this is just an example to see how this works together. If you have this thing that your problem is I want to buy a home, okay, your certainty says I know I want to buy a home. Your uncertainty says I don't know what I don't know, right? I don't know the cost, I don't know the location, I don't know how big this house needs to be. That's where you find guidance and coaching and mentorship. That's where the professional people come into your life and they will give you these answers. But see, if you have too much certainty, you're not going to listen. If you have too much uncertainty, you're not going to try. You're not going to do the work, right? You're not going to even try to go purchase because you're not going to even apply for the application. You're not going to apply for pre-approval. So understand that in any problem you try to solve, you're going to have some certainty that says, I know enough to do it. And then some uncertainty is that I don't know the unknown. That's why you have professionals in the industry to help you. So why do we bring this up? Because I see a lot of people talk about why do I always have problem and am I the only one? And like my life might not be worthy because I always have problems I face. Okay. And then they also come up with, well, I'm not certain I have enough money and I'm certain I don't have enough money and I'm uncertain that I could make more money. So when you have everything, including your problem they're trying to solve, and you're looking at everything in a negative light, it doesn't go anywhere. But if you turn that and you say, hey, like, my problem is I don't have enough money. Okay, I want to buy a home, I don't have enough money. Well, my certainty is that I don't I don't have enough money. That's okay, right? That could be a positive. I'm certain I don't have enough money. My uncertainty is how do I find it? Can I earn it? Can I do 401k? Can I do a gift of money from somebody? You can always find a way to solve it. There's no real answer for every person that's going to be the same. I've solved many of those cases for many of my clients. Um, Sometimes it's just faith. Sometimes it's you hope for the best and you just believe, which is faith. Sometimes you basically try everything, right? Call people, look at 401k. Maybe you take a second job. Maybe you change your job. I've had many clients go through that. And so I see how that works. Um, but again, the reason why we bring this up is that a lot of people face that today, whether it's in relationship, it's in buying your first home, it's in buying your first car, it's going to school. What career should I go into? I don't know what's going to make me the most money, right? I see a lot of these questions that's out there. So I wanted to do a video on this to really talk about it, that problems are not bad for you. They tell you that you need to change or they help you change. And uncertainty is great to have, but too much of it is bad for you because you do nothing or you do too much and you think you know too much and you're going to have a problem. Uncertainty is also great for you, but too much uncertainty, and now you don't know that you have a capability, right? I'm uncertain of the answer. I'm uncertain that the water is warm or cold. I'm uncertain how high the jump is. When you become too uncertain, you do nothing. When you become too certain, you only do what you know, right? So, and I've learned some of that through my wife and through the coaching Tony Robbins, that you have to have some certainty, you have to have some uncertainty, you have to have some vision and problems in your life. But this is all a balance for you to live your best life, for you to know that without answers, I'm going to learn more. Okay. Like I was telling my wife this morning, I love to fish. I love to teach people how to fish. I love to embrace the sport of fishing. If you went to the river and as soon as you arrive, all the fish jump out of the river, I wouldn't go to the river. It's not exciting to know where they are. It's exciting to find them, to catch them, to reel them in, release them, or take them home and eat them. That's your choice. That's what makes it fun, right? So understand that if you're single and you can't find somebody, that's okay. That uncertainty is what makes butterfly in your tummy, right? Once you know everything, how come when people are married, they're not the same anymore, right? The majority of people, how come we have a 50% divorce rate in America? If you knew that certainly you're going to marry this person, your life was going to be phenomenal, why don't you live that way? Because sometimes when you have that certainty, it becomes uncertain if you should marry them. You see, it's crazy, right? I'm certain I want to marry you. We go and do our vows and we have 1,000 people at the wedding. You're certain you want to marry them, but then how come 5 years later you're not? People don't change. What you do changes, what you learn changes, how you grow can change, but people normally are still who they are inside. If they were always an evil person, it'll probably come back out. If they're always a nice person, that's probably who they're going to be. Okay, like money doesn't make people more evil or more nice. Okay, I like how Tony puts it. Tony puts it, money magnifies who you are to the next degree. It doesn't make you nicer or wiser or smarter or anything. If you're a nice person, you're always going to give. If you're not a giver, you're never going to give. If you're a philanthropist, you're always going to do that. If you're not, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you're still not going to give, right? You're not going to care about anything else. So just understand that, there is no right or wrong, but problems are good for us. It's not always good to have them, but it's when you face one, it's because something's not working. So now you solve it. You embrace it and you solve it. And uncertainty is good to have. Sometimes it's good not to know where to go. You book a trip and you just go. Last week, told my wife, I got home. I was on my way home from a real estate transaction, and I told my wife, let's go, let's travel. We're just gonna drive a couple hours, and we're gonna go and take the kids. We're gonna go play a swimming pool and take some pictures. So we did. Kids were like, "How come we didn't know?" Because you don't need to know, right? If you always know things, that means you're living by certainty. You're not going to have any surprises. You're not going to live for adventure. You're not going to be surprised. It's not going to be fun. Sometimes it is fun just to be doing uncertain things and just embrace and enjoy the moment. So, again, I know it's a little bit long, but I hope you guys took something away. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys use it to challenge your life and your relationship and your job and anything that you do. Problems are not always bad for us. It tells us that we need to change or something needs or we need to grow. Uncertainty is great to have to kind of create flexibility and unknown in your life to give your relationship more excitement, right? Certainty is good to know, but having too much of it will also make you stuck. And now you do the same thing. I don't ever take the same road twice home. I know where it is. I could take it one day, not take it the next day. I live for the thrill of learning and growing and having things to be able to give back to other people and to teach them. I hope you guys took something away. I appreciate your time. And again, please like, share, comment. We'd love to see what else you guys want to talk about or you want me to talk about. We'd love to do some topics for you guys. But again, this will be on YouTube, so it will be saved for a long time and you guys can come back and watch it. And again, take whatever away that is going to be valuable for you. This is a conversation. Whatever doesn't work, don't use it, right? But it's something, if you heard something that is a aha moment, write it down and use it or teach it to somebody because we're in this world together. Three degrees of separation from the rest of the world, from every human being. We're here all the same. We're here to help each other. So I hope you guys take something away. I appreciate your time, and I will see you guys next Tuesday on Real Talk Tuesday with George Yang. And again, my goal is to be launching these at 12 o'clock. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Bye bye.